Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary unicorns, please put your hands and hooves together for the man with all the magic, the man with the real wizardry, that guy that's been doing this under a different name for such a long time. It's Neil Trigger!
Have I actually been saying all of that without a microphone? You know what? It happens every single week, and I'm really sorry about that. So I don't know how long I've been sat here talking to myself before realising, you know what? No one can hear me. So hello everybody, welcome back to Real Wizardry, where we make your life more magical. My name's Neil, I'm going to be your magical host, and in today's show I'm going to be talking all about Real Wizardry, and not just that logo. I'm going to be talking about Real Wizardry as a holistic thing. This is Witchcraft Wednesdays. Hopefully it's going to be a sort of semi-regular thing. I won't necessarily commit to every single Wednesday. I've got a life too, but I just kind of thought Witchcraft Wednesdays kind of makes sense. I'm going to carry on uploading stuff. I've just heard a ding. Where's that coming from? I'm going to have to turn that off, I think. I don't want to have Facebook popping up all the time just going, hey. I don't want that. So I'm going to just talk to you guys, hopefully. So we've got 5 people on at the moment. Really sorry that there was that silence at the beginning. Very unprofessional of me, but hopefully I'm going to take it back, and we're going to have fun. What I would really like is questions from you guys. I do have some prepared, and I will go through them if necessary, but I'd much rather talk to you guys about it. Before we get into any of that sort of stuff, and we'll get... It's still binging. Obviously someone's opened Facebook somewhere, so I'm going to turn that off. There we go. Goodness gracious. It's this computer, sometimes it's got like too many comments on. So Frankenstein's, hello to you. The frequency, I like that. Hey, how are you? I'm awesome, thank you. How are you doing? Both of you, I've not seen either of you before, which is brilliant, and this is kind of why I'm doing it at this time. I don't normally do Wednesdays at all. I normally do Saturdays. Sweet Potato Sister Club, that's a wicked name, I love it. Hi man. Hi, how you doing? Sweet Potato Sister Club, that's really cool. I'm new. I know, everybody's new, which is really cool. So hopefully you'll really enjoy this. This is all about sort of real wizardry, and what I would normally do is do a bit of a quiz on a Saturday, and it's all related to magic. As you may or may not have gathered, hopefully you've gathered by now, everything is to do with magic on this channel, like literally everything. Chivalrous Tube, you are not new, you're a member, and you've got a little logo next to your name, so everybody knows you're not. Chivalrous Tube is a regular on here. He's just playing along, I think. But there are, by the look of it, 3 new people, which is really...
Wow,
I know, really impressive. So thanks for that. We do have Chivalrous Tube, I'm new. Okay, all right, if you want to be. He just wants to play along. We do have some sort of regular stuff that I'm going to go through right now, and then we'll get on to the good stuff, if that's all right with you. So first of all, this is my Patreon link. There's no obligation whatsoever, but if you do like what you see and you want to support me, it's very, very welcome. Sweet Potato Sister Club, okay. Yeah, I know. Joke, I'm not new, I'm Chivy. Yeah, this is Chivy. Where is he? Over there. He's a regular. You may not like his sense of humour, but you'll get used to it after a while. So I just wanted to give a massive shout out to everybody. So Frankenstein's, Free Quincy, Sweet Potato Sister Club, and Chivalrous Tube. Hello to you. To Chivy. What? Anyway. So yeah, there's Patreon across the top. There's also my general website. I am redesigning it at the moment. So it's going to be realwizardry.com. If you go there at the moment, you're just going to have an error message. Don't bother. Just go over to realworldmagic.net, which is what this channel used to be. But I'm pushing it forward as Real Wizardry because we want to get more people, and frankly, Real Wizardry is better SEO optimization. My humour is great. Yes, it's amazing. We love him, really. He's a bit like, oh my god! Yeah. So, what are we going to talk about today? Come on, guys. If you've got anything that you want to talk about specifically, then by all means, write it in chat. I'll put it down on my little list, and we can have a bit of a chat about it. But massive shout out to these wonderful, wonderful people. These are my patrons and members. If you want to be one of these wonderful people, head on down to the link in the description where you can join, and that'd be wicked. There's been a big increase in practical magic interest lately. There has, yes. Cast a Spell is back. Hello to you. Whoop whoop. Hold on 1 second. I do have a cheer somewhere. Where is it? There we go. Hi D. So we've got we've got a number of people in at the moment, which is brilliant. So yes, there has been a big increase in practical magic interest lately. So hopefully we're going to go through some of what this is. If you're expecting real or fake, by the way, I would imagine probably most of you aren't, simply because most of you aren't very new. On Saturdays I do a quiz called Real or Fake. That isn't what today's going to be. Today is going to be Witchcraft Wednesdays, which is just a new idea that I had to talk about witchcraft and how to do stuff and why it works and all of that sort of stuff. Now, I know that there are going to be opinions that are purely my own, and you're almost certainly going to disagree with at least some of it, and that's okay. The thing about witchcraft is that there isn't any kind of one given path. So that's that. It's good to be back. Sorry it's been such a long time. Just finished moving house. Wow.
Wowee.
Yeah. I'm actually moving house very soon too, so you totally have my sympathy. I know it's going to be awkward, and I'm really looking forward to it, but hopefully it went all right for you. We've just put down an offer on a 4-bedroom detached house with a garage, and that garage is going to become my real life dungeon. My real life dungeon. It's going to be a magic pub. I'm going to vlog the whole thing. We're going to do it on Mondays. It's going to be called Magical Man Cave Mondays. We'll see where I'm going with the whole alliteration thing. Frank has been packing up. Not yet, no. The chances are it's probably going to be towards the end of the year. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very cool. So for those of you who have seen my channel before, you'll know that I do a lot of DIYs about how to make your life more magical, making stuff like this. Yeah, it's not common thought to be open-minded in terms of spells. No, I know. I do know that because, for example, this is a spell book I've got in preparation for today. So if anyone wants to ask a question about a very specific thing, I will look it up for you. We've also got We've also got an encyclopedia of magical creatures as well. We can talk about that and what sort of magical things might work. Most say there's one way, yes, but most are wrong.
Wowee.
At least that's my opinion. I think that spells are much, much more powerful if you use them with your own intuition. And I do believe that spells work, and the reason that I believe that is because of the power of unconscious mind, which I think is far more powerful than anything else. Now, I know that some people invoke spirits, ghosts, gods, all of that sort of stuff. If that's you, that's fine. I'm not going to criticise, and I don't want you to criticise me either. That's, mutual respect. But yes, I do recognise that there is one way, according to most people. I disagree with that. I think that the more powerful way is using your own intuition, your own power. And if you own it and if you sort of put yourself into it, you're going to really believe that more. And I think it's that's going to make it work more than anything else. So, cool. Let's, shall we move on, I think? Yes. Let's just do a quick shout out to the members. So, we're going to invoke our local Wizardry.
Hello.
Hi, Frank. How you doing? You okay?
Yes.
Yes. We've got new members here. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Yes.
Yes. Can you say anything other than yes?
No.
Ah, fair enough. I'm the same way, so I found the right page. Awesome. Yeah, I do know that a lot of people are very prescriptive about that.
What?
I said prescriptive.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know what that means?
No.
No. All right, fair enough.
I'm not very clever.
No, that is true. That is true.
Yes.
New member. What? New member. I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, Chivy. And I do know that happens a lot. I don't know what Chivy means. Okay, so the first thing we want to do with old Frank there is
I want to present the show.
No, you're not presenting the show.
Why?
Well, because I'm kind of in mid-flow at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Can you say hello to members though?
Yes.
Okay, like right now?
Like right now.
Okay, go on then.
Hello, Artemis. Hello, Mum. I mean, Blue Lady. Hello, Chivalrous Tube. Hello, Jovis. Hello, Kaylee Christensen. Hello, Tina Harrington. Hello, everybody else. If you want me to say hello to you personally, you need to be a member. Like right now. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Chivalrous Tube said, you told Frank you have a new member. I don't have a new member.
Why?
Well, because they haven't joined.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Good point. You should. It's down there. It's about £1.99 a month, isn't it, Frank, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. And you get loads of cool benefits, which is really nice. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. So you've said hello to everybody?
Yes.
Yes. You go prepare real or fake for next week, and I'll see you again later.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, Frank.
Goodbye.
So that was Frank, our resident Wizardry, for those of you who haven't been here before. Now, I know that's all a little bit silly, so let's talk about the serious stuff. So this is Witchcraft Wednesdays, and what we're going to be doing is talking about witchcraft, which is cool. So let me just bring that up right now. What was that noise? Weird. Okay, so a lot of people ask me questions a lot. So I do have quite a few of them written down on this page here, and I can go through them. But what I prefer, I think, is if you say them in the chat, and then I'll read them out and I'll answer the question for you. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Hopefully, that sounds like... Yeah. But, if not, then I'll just crack on, shall I? Okay, so, first one. What do I need to get started with witchcraft? Nothing. You need a brain. That is it.
Wowee.
Yeah, and I know that sounds quite facetious, but it's not supposed to. Literally anything that you want to do, you can do in witchcraft using just your brain. If you think about something, that's effectively like a prayer or a spell anyway. Yes, you can make it stronger, of course you can. But just using yourself, that's the way to do it. People say forget your spell after casting. What's your thought on that? I think that there are two different sides to that. First of all, if you don't forget your spell, you're more likely to act upon it, which is more likely to make it a success. If you do forget your spell, it's more likely to go into your unconscious mind, which is ultimately where your actions are coming from anyway. So I don't think it makes much of a difference personally, although I will say from personal experience it's incredibly difficult to forget a spell that you spent ages crafting. So if you're casting a spell, I would say that the chances of you forgetting it are slim to none, unless you're casting a lot of spells and it just gets lost in the noise, in which case you're probably doing it wrong in the first place. Really good question, Frequency. Thank you. Do I call you Frequency or Frequency? Don't know. Yeah, I do like that name though. I don't know where the others have gone, but we do have 6 people currently viewing, so hopefully that's going to carry on for a little bit. So I think with regard to forgetting the spell frequency, awesome. With regard to forgetting the spell, I just don't think you stand a hope in hell anyway. So you may as well act on it, and you may as well just accept that you're not going to forget it and move on with it. If you're doing it right, you're putting in so much effort that forgetting it is going to be incredibly difficult, I think. It's a play on words. Yeah, I like it. Chivalrous Tube, have you got any questions? Because I know that you're a regular and you're a member, so if you want to ask questions, go for it. Okay, so with regard to how do I get started with witchcraft, you really don't need very much at all. Of course, you could do things like buy spell candles, buy spell packs, ribbons, cotton. The whole point about the craft is that it's sort of an accessible thing. It's an accessible craft. You grab whatever you can, whatever's around you, and use it. You could use leaves or dirt or water or grass or salt or whatever it is that you've got. Depends on what you want to do with it, obviously. And there are certain things that have certain meanings, and even if you don't ascribe to those sorts of things, each thing that you're going to be using, as long as it means something to you, as far as I'm concerned anyway, as long as it means something to you, then that's what it should mean, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So, for example, salt is often used in banishing, and there's almost like this consensus that salt is used to banish stuff. That's why you throw salt over your left shoulder when you're cooking, because it banishes the demon that's supposed to sit on there and whisper horrible things. Like wine as blood, exactly. So it's really funny, I find, that with regard to the Christian Bible, technically, if you went by the letter of the Bible, it would be thou shalt not do any magic. I think that might even be one of the commandments, but it does specifically say do not cast magic. And yet, if you look at a lot of this stuff, the Christingle orange, have you seen that? That's basically an orange with sticks in it. The sticks then have raisins on it, and it's got a candle in the middle to represent the light of God, and it's got all these different things to represent the people. I mean, if that's not symbology and a spell, effectively, I don't know what is. And then you've got the Holy Communion, where you're turning, at least the Catholics anyway, believe that this is literally the transmutation of the wafer into flesh and the wine into blood. They actually believe in the physical transformation or physical transmutation of one thing into another. That is a spell. It's like the dictionary definition of a spell. To invoke the spirit. That's actually a term from witchcraft, and yet they use it in their sermons to invoke the spirit. They use it in their rituals, and they even call them rituals as well. Anything they say is bad must have some power, depending, of course. Anything they say is bad must have some power. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Aren't you casting magic when you wish and you blow out the candles on your birthday cake? Yes. That's it. Yes, that's absolutely true.
Wowee.
Telling someone happy birthday is a spell? Yes. When someone sneezes, that's a spell? Yes. So you say, bless you. You're invoking a spirit. You're actually blessing them as a result of sneezing. Now, sneezing is an interesting one because it means that when you sneeze, you obviously expel gas, normally through your nose and often through your mouth as well. And it was always thought that your spirit might come out if you sneeze too much, which is why people say bless you in order to get the spirit back in. So yeah, all of that stuff. You're effectively doing magic without even realising it. And I do have one short already about sort of throwing salt over your shoulder and how that's a magical ritual without even realising it. I'm also going to do things about birthday parties and cutting the cake as well. All of that is magic, but no one ever realises that it is magic. They kept magic away from the people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, magic was always deemed something very scary because those people in power didn't like the underlings, the peasants, being taught magic as a way of gaining back control or gaining back power. Magic is a very powerful tool for lots of things, but certainly self-empowerment is one of them. And if you're trying to oppress a nation or a particular race or people or a colony or whatever, if you're trying to oppress people, taking away that right or that ability to empower them is a very powerful way of oppressing people. And you've seen it with the Nazis, you've seen it with concentration camps, you've seen it everywhere. But if you take away someone's fundamental right to do magic, that's a very powerful way of oppressing people for sure. So telling people happy birthday is a spell, cutting a cake is a spell, blowing out the candles, making a wish, that's a spell. Even to a certain extent, unwrapping a present as well is a certain ritual to go with it. I'm pretty sure there isn't a commandment saying that you can't cast magic. You may be right, but it is definitely in the Bible that it says you shouldn't cast magic. I will actually Google that, because I think that's quite a good talking point. Let's have a look. No, actually that's not true, but it does say thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, and that was Exodus 22:18. Although it could also be you must not allow a sorceress to live, and so that was used by people like Matthew Hopkins in the 15th century to burn witches as a sort of almost a divine right to kill these people, which was horrible. And he went around. Matthew Hopkins was a horrible character from history, actually. He was known as the Witchfinder General, which was a title that was given to him by the government. He was sort of employed by the government to find witches, and he used that sentence in Exodus 22:18 to say, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, therefore I'll burn them all. And he came up with loads of horrible ways of finding these witches, from the clucking stool. It's not called the ducking stool, by the way, it's called the clucking stool. Clucking as in talking. And it was basically the early form of waterboarding. These people would be strapped to basically a chair on a lever, and there'd be a fulcrum at one end and a heavy weight at the other, and someone would just sort of pull on this thing, and the lever would go up and down, and it would basically dunk them into a lake. And unless this person confessed and tried to absolve themselves of sin, then they would ultimately be ducked to death. So they were ducked on a clucking stool. So it's not a ducking stool. Right, sorry, where are we? I think I need to catch up. Cutting cake, why? I will go into that in just a second. So cutting cake. So when you're cutting a cake, often it's the blade going into it. It's actually the blade that in witchcraft would be called an athame, and it's a very short blade. The blade itself is probably about that, and it's used for ritual working and pointing in a similar way to a magic wand. By cutting the cake, you're effectively infusing it with magic as you're slicing down, and so by the act of cutting is a bit like saying, by this cut I shall do this thing, and that's why you make the wish while you're cutting a cake. Interesting. Good video idea then, why the Bible says you shouldn't cast magic. Yeah, that's alright. You know what? I'm getting it out again. I'm getting it out. My little YouTube book. Hopefully you can see that. I have my YouTube book and my YouTube pen. Both of them were given to me by Chivalrous Tube very generously. I will write that down right now before I forget. So please hold, caller. Your call is important to us. Why the Bible says you shouldn't do magic. Here's a spoiler for you. It's political and people control. Shouldn't do magic. And then the question is, do I spell magic with a C or a CK? Right, where are we? So, Chivalrous Tube, I was just going to ask you about burning wizards and witches, but erased it because you thought it would be too graphic or sensitive. I think enough times passed. It was in the 15th century. I think we're all right. Cast a spell. I'm Catholic myself and I've not heard that, so I'm very interested. But I'm aware that there are people who think that Harry Potter is evil because JK won't say if she has a religion. Well, I think personally, I mean, she was actually raised a Catholic, if that helps. But she stepped away from Catholicism. Now, whether or not she's got a religion, to be honest, I think is entirely her business. I wouldn't want to speculate on that. But I would suggest that she has some sort of spirituality about her, simply because, having read Harry Potter and watched the movies, there's a very deep grain of anything can be resolved through love. Friendship is really important. Honesty and family ties and all of those sorts of values, I think, go with a religious thing. Little bit nutty mum short. Hello to you.
Wowee.
And a big cheer for joining. If I did press that button, I don't know why it's not. There we go. Right, sorry, I'm still trying to catch up with chat. This is brilliant. I really love it. Yep, they tried to cancel Harry Potter because it's evil. Yeah, they started burning books. Again, parallels with the Nazis and the whole control thing, which I think is why, because they just got very, very concerned about the sorts of messages that this would be giving to people who are already oppressed by their regime. So as soon as you try and break people out of those sorts of regimes, interesting things happen politically, I think. Don't get it out, you're streaming. What? I don't know what you mean. The book, yeah. Well, I know, but I'm not exactly professional, am I? So a little bit nutty mum short, yeah, but it's really funny that they used sorcerers to help cast spells against their enemies. I believe it was Saw in David that did this. It was Saw in David? I'm not sure what that means. Sorry. But yeah, I think that they did certainly use sorcerers in order to find the sorcerers. Certainly when Matthew Hopkins was around, they did use sorcerers to help find the sorcerers, which is utterly bonkers. I know we've gone very off topic, but this is fine. This is great. Read. Oh, right. So it's fantasy, said Chivalrous Tube. Absolutely. Harry Potter is utter fantasy. That's entirely true. However, I do know for a fact that J.K. Rowling went down to the Museum of Witchcraft in Boscastle in Cornwall. And I know that because I spoke to Stephen, who was at the time the owner of the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. And he said that she had come down and she'd done a lot of research. She'd gone through his private library. And I've been to his private library, and trust me, it's seriously impressive. He's got some very awesome books in there. Maybe I should ask him if I can go down, just invite myself. But I mean, with COVID and stuff, I don't know. You're not wearing your YouTube shirt. You know what? It's in the wash, I think. But I do have a white T-shirt. Maybe I should put that on. I won't do it right now, but I can sort of stick on the stickers. I was going to make some. I have every intention. It's just I haven't actually got around to doing it. I've been very busy today. Yeah, sorry. Laura Trigg is my wonderful wife, and she tells me off sometimes. Right, there's an amazing book. Sorry, this is Cast a Spell. There's an amazing book about Harry Potter and the Christian values it has. I'll try to find the book so I can tell you the title. It's an amazing read. Awesome. Thank you for that. That'd be cool. I have seen similar sorts of things. You know what's funny though, and I hope I'm not going to be insulting, because I know I've just read that you're a Catholic. I don't want to insult anybody, but I find it very strange that those moral values have been branded Christian values. Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion to be had about that, but I don't want to get too much into the whole religion thing. Hi, Laura. Frequency. Why do you think magic has gotten more popular in 2021? That's a good question. I think it's in a similar way to what happened in the times of the bubonic plague. Again, magic had a bit of a resurgence, and I think it's basically because people feel out of control. I think that's mainly what it is. I think that that magic helps people feel more empowered, and I think that's a really good thing, and I think it should be encouraged, and I think people should take their own power into themselves and cast out into the world all of the sorts of things that they want. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I want this. Don't be arrogant, don't be pushy or step on anyone's head in order to get what you want, but by all means go out and get what you want. I think that's a really powerful message to have. And when it comes to manifesting, and maybe we'll talk about that a bit later, whether in this video or not, I don't know, because I'm not sure we're going to have a huge amount of time, because you guys are really interactive and that's brilliant. But yeah, I do think that in 2021, well, like 2020 really, we had the same sort of thing. It was a massive resurgence of that thing, simply because we've all been locked up effectively. I'm not going to say it's like prison. I mean, come on, we've all got Netflix, we've all got the internet, you've got YouTube, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. It's not like prison. It's definitely not. But there are certain civil liberties that have been taken away from us, and I think that if you're used to having more freedom and it's been taken away, then yeah, you're going to feel like you need to do something more. You're going to feel a bit more powerless, and ultimately you need to react to that in whatever way you want to do. But one really good way of reacting is by doing magic spells. Why are you not wearing your t-shirt? Yeah, sorry. I know. I wasn't going to tell you this, but she was in the museum here too. Spoilers. No, she wasn't. So Chivalrous Tube has recently gone to the Museum of Witchcraft, or Museum of Magic, I'm not sure what it's called, in Iceland. So that's cool. Very wonderful. Yay! Because of quarantine, people got bored and TikTok boosted it a lot. TikTok is definitely, partially at least, to blame for the resurgence in witchcraft, yeah. I'd also like to think that real world magic and real wizardry are at least a little part to do with that. Maybe. I don't know. We've got sort of, 8.3 thousand subscribers at the moment. So if you haven't already, by the way, please do like and subscribe to this. Like this video, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. I should have done that at the beginning, shouldn't I? So yeah, if you haven't already, please do subscribe and ding that bell, all that jazz. Right, where are we? So plus women empowerment worldwide, I'm assuming, or I assume, yeah, to a certain extent. I personally think that women should be empowered. I think the world would probably be a lot better place if women were in charge. Genuinely, I'm not just saying that for reaction. I genuinely believe that. I mean, if you look at New Zealand and the way that they dealt with the coronavirus crisis, they just locked it down. And I went to see Russell Howard on Saturday. He's a comedian, and he made a really good point. And I don't just want to steal from his set, but it's basically like the Prime Minister of New Zealand was just like, all right, I'm mum, just stay where you are, everything will be fine, I'm going to lock down everything. And he's right, to be honest. I mean, trust a comedian to tell the truth. But yeah, I think if women were in charge, I think the world would be a lot better place. And you can call me sexist if you like, but I'm a bloke, so I'm allowed to say that. I understand exactly what you mean. Basically, the main part of being a Christian is not just about belief in God, but to be kind to everyone regardless of sex, race, who they love, etc. Absolutely. You know what? I am definitely going to do one of those. Took a while to come through, but I'm going to let that play. Okay, so alright, so Chivalrous Tube said she was, I can prove it, they have a pic of her there framed on the wall. Okay, maybe she was there, she wasn't there while you were there, that's kind of what I was saying. So J.K. Rowling was at the Museum of Witchcraft in Iceland. That doesn't surprise me at all. She really did her research, and you can definitely tell that if you read through some of it, especially the darker stuff. So when she goes, or when the characters go to Nocturne Alley, The Hand of Glory, I know for a fact that was taken directly from the Museum of Witchcraft in Cornwall, where they have a Hand of Glory. It's a horrible looking thing. It's a severed human hand, and it's supposed to give light to the holder, even in the darkest of times. And if you read the books, it'll explain why. In the movies, I don't think that was covered at all. Really, it was sort of hinted at a little bit, so that people who watched, who read the books first, sort of understood it. But yeah, the books explain it much better. The movies not so much. So if you haven't read the books, read the Harry Potter books. They'll give you so much more detail. And it's not just propaganda, and I'm not getting anything from it, so there we go. But sadly, things get twisted, and people interrupt or interpret things. I think that's interpret things in different ways, or use the Bible as an excuse to discriminate against people, which I do not agree with. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think that when it comes to forgive thy neighbour, love thy neighbour, isn't it? I think a lot of Christians, certainly not all of them, not by a long way, but a lot of Christians do think that they are holier than other people, and they're inherently better because they've got a closer relationship with God. And I don't want to get into the whole religion thing, but I do know that some people, certainly not everybody, do believe that they are more holy, closer to God, all of that stuff, simply because they are Christian or they label themselves as a certain thing. And it's not just Christianity, it's other religions as well. Any group of people, it doesn't even need to be a religion, often will go down that route. So there was a famous experiment where a teacher would separate their class into two separate factions, so the blue eyes and the brown eyes, and they would say that initially, I think it was the brown eyes are superior and that the blue eyes are less inferior, I guess. So they're inferior, and the brown eyes are dominant. So they're smarter, they're funnier, all of that sort of stuff. And then after a couple of days, I think it might even be one day, the brown eyes start to display those traits that they have been told, and they're then starting to pick on or bully the others. Interestingly, if you then get the teacher to say, new research has come out and that was actually refuted, which means that the blue eyes are actually better, if you then tell these people, interestingly, the blue eyes then start displaying those positive traits, the brown eyes start displaying the negative traits, and the blues start bullying the browns, and the browns become oppressed. Interestingly. And that's almost like the 101 of how to manifest this sort of stuff. So if you say this is that, it will be. Words become flesh, as it were. So and that's a core part of not only Christianity but also Islam, Hinduism. There's a whole load of sort of manifesty kind of religious belief in loads of different religions. Doesn't really matter where you're going with who you're worshipping or whatever. That core belief of words become real is central to loads of religions, actually. So where are we? Chivalrous Tube. Well, I'd definitely tell you if I saw her. I thought you probably would. J.K. Rowling has done her research and gone to various museums of witchcraft. Doesn't surprise me at all. Europe is more aware of magic, or at least less sceptical than USA, I've noticed. Is that like for you? Is it like that for you? I don't know. Certainly, I think the USA is a much younger country. Let's put it that way. I think there's a lot more tradition in Europe, simply because it's older. It's been there for longer. It's had more ingraining of that. So, for example, if you were to go to some of the Nordic countries, whether it be Iceland, Finland, Sweden, Norway, those sorts of places, they believe in trolls, or at least they used to. I did hear a figure that I think it was like 1 in 6 people in Iceland believe that trolls are actually real. certainly I think there's more of a propensity in America to be more skeptical, but then I think that's the same about everything. I think conspiracy theories are probably more prevalent in America than they are in Europe, simply because I think the Americans are less trusting in general. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think a certain degree of skepticism isn't a bad thing. I think skepticism in general is actually quite a good thing, quite a healthy thing. It implies that there's a certain degree of intelligence and thought around things, but at the same time you don't want skepticism to feed into cynicism. So, you know, if you get told a fact and some proof, you can be skeptical, but if you see that proof and it's overwhelming, then yeah, fair enough, you know, crack on. But if you start seeing the proof and just go, well, yeah, but all the time, you know, by all means be skeptical, but if you get overwhelming proof and you still won't bend, then you become a cynic, a bore, and frankly, a bit of an idiot. Okay, how eye colour affects your witchcraft spells, one for the book. You know what, you can write it down and message me later, that's fine. It's a good idea though, I do like it. Chivalrous Tube, oh, we have a ton of mythical things we believe in here, hidden people, elves and sea monsters. Yeah, elves, I think maybe that was it, maybe. I can't remember, but yeah, I do know that in Europe there does seem to be much more belief in that sort of thing. And if you've ever driven past the Black Forest in Germany, you'll know that it's not difficult to imagine like the witches and things like that from the Brothers Grimm tales, or Hans Christian Andersen or anything like that. So when you're driving past the Black Forest, you look in, you see it's totally black, and you think, that is eerie, there could be werewolves or anything in there and you wouldn't know. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Again, you go to places like Romania and you see the Dead Forest, which is basically a whole series of trees that have been flooded by salt water. Everything's dead, but the stumps are just still sort of underneath the water. It's just kind of creepy. Yeah. It is creepy. Laura has put a devil emoji and a emoji. I'm not sure why, but thank you for that. Cast a spell. Exactly. Love thy neighbour. Yeah, absolutely. Also, done a quick search because I'm interested. It depends on the magic, etc. So obviously exorcism. Yeah, now exorcism is another magical ritual, but it has been taken on, especially by the Catholicism. By Catholicism, not the Catholicism. But yeah, it's been taken on as a magical ritual that they actually do sometimes. The Vatican, I don't think, sanctions exorcisms very often because it considers that it's admitting to demons getting into the mortal realm, and it doesn't like to admit that. Yeah, that's kind of the darker side. Maybe we'll cover that at another time. Maybe I'll do a bit of a trigger warning. Trigger warning. Maybe I'll do a trigger warning about that. So yeah, it's funny because that's my surname, just in case you're wondering. Cast a spell is a type of magic, so exorcism is a type of magic, so it depends on the purpose of the magic and the intent, not just the magic itself. Yes, absolutely. And magic is all about intent as well. You can't have magic without intending to do something. Otherwise, you're just bumbling about and being a bit of a prat. So you do need to have some sort of intent if you're going to cast a spell. And that, I think, is probably point number one in loads of videos that I've put on this channel about how to do magic. You've got to have an intent first, and the stronger that intent is, the more likely it's going to work. You can do loads of other stuff, but without intent there's no point. I'm going to take a drink. I've been talking for a long time. Troll and skeptical emojis. Yeah, fair enough. So Laura's skeptical of trolls. I don't blame you. Yeah, what's in that glass then? It's grape juice, sort of. Want to see a rare emoji? Look, dunno. Yeah, now that one I probably need to either remove or do something with it. I did that for real or fake, where you could say it's either real or it's fake, or I don't know. But then if you do I don't know, you don't get a point. So what is the point? So I think I might just delete it. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's get back to this, thing. How are you enjoying the show so far? If you like it, do click that like button. It would really help me out. What to look for when buying spell books. Now, this is an interesting one. What would you look for when buying a spell book? I'm going to ask you guys as well, and then I'll answer the question. So by all means, put something in the chat as to what you would look for when you're buying a spell book. Would it simply be that, it's a small, convenient thing that you can store on your bookshelf without being too bulky? Or would you want something absolutely enormous like this that contains 5,000 spells and it should cover absolutely everything that you would ever want? Do you want something specific, like a Hedge Witch journal or how to make love potions, something like that? What would you want to see in a spell book? And I'll tell you what I would like to see. So I think that with spells, probably the best thing to do would be to get a book like this one. Now this one's going to zero out on the green screen as well, but this is the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall, and it isn't a spell book. So one of the best things, I think, is to have a spell book that isn't a spell book. So more of a reference guide to say these crystals mean this. Similar to this sort of thing, where you've got magical creatures. Some of them are mythical, but other things like cats, they tell you all about the cat and what the magical properties are of that thing. So I personally, I would say that. Let's have a quick look. Laura, got your message, and no problem. Okay, so cast a spell. A close family friend does do exorcism. Okay, so sometimes it's quite difficult to find someone official within the church that does that. Frequency, title and size smaller is stronger, I've noticed. Certainly I've got some, or I did have some spell books. I've kept like one of them, I think. I had to get rid of nearly all of them when we moved house. But now that we're going to be moving into a bigger house, I'm definitely going to get more. I'm going to have like a whole library within my magical pub thing. It's going to be great. But yeah, I have noticed that smaller, more niche or niche books are going to be like that. Ricky Jackson EO, hello.
Wowee.
I think we may have seen you before. I can't actually remember. I'm really sorry. But hello to you and welcome. Frequency, larger can be sometimes over-explained. Yeah, that is true, actually. I think there's an awful lot of stuff in here that is over-explained. Yeah, for sure. Right, what else have we got here? Chivalrous Tube. Meanwhile, in Iceland, the Yule cat will eat your child if they misbehave.
Wowee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Yule cat will eat your child, but I have heard about the Yule cat. I can't remember where I heard it, actually. Where did I hear it? Oh, it might have been... This is going to sound so weird. I think it might have been on Santa Claus 2. Was it Santa Claus 2? No, the Christmas Chronicles 2 on Netflix. I think that's what it was. Ricky Jackson EO, new name. Cool. Okay. What was your old name? Have you been here before? The Yule Cat is massive. Yeah, I have heard that. It's kind of like Battle Cat from He-Man, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. Yeah, Battle Cat from He-Man, cracky. Oh, 1 second. Let me just have a quick look at this. Because what I really wanted to do was this.
What an idiot.
But, yeah, I can't do that anymore. So, Oh, well. Yeah, so the Yule Cat is massive. I think it's like this silvery grey animal, isn't it? Something like that. So what I look for, anyway, in these spell books is things that I can use, but not spells themselves. Rick EO, of course, Ricky Jackson EO. Yeah, Rick EO, hello to you, welcome back. Sorry, my brain's not working today. But yes,
What an idiot.
I feel like a prat. I'm so sorry. I knew I recognised it, and I was just like, why can you not do that anymore? Copyright. I don't know what you mean. Why can I not do the Harry Potter one? I don't know. Okay, so I think I bet you won't see this for ages, said Laura. She's messaging me. Yes. I will log off at 9:30. Hopefully that's okay. I'm more than happy to help you, by the way. My wife needs to use the computer. Yeah, I'd hope to go live a little bit sooner, so it's entirely my fault. But I will log off in about 10 minutes. Why can you not do that anymore? Copyright, I don't know what you mean. The Hermione clip, you said that you can't do that anymore. I can do that, so yes. A common question for skeptics from Frequency: if we're all able to manifest through spells, why aren't we all millionaires? Ooh, now that's an interesting one. And the answer is because we don't believe we can be.
Wowee.
And it's not just about what you think, it's about what you really feel and what you believe is possible, and also what you believe you deserve. And this is on a very sort of wholesome, sensible, single level. I know that the answer that you're looking for is because you can't do magic to benefit yourself. That is not true. But yeah, when it comes to manifestation, it's all about what you truly believe is possible, and you manifest things that you think of, even if they're not what you want. So you might think that what you want is something, but what your soul, I guess, what your soul is acting upon is that you believe that you're worth such and such, whatever that is, whatever that level is. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Please let me know. Put it in the comments whether that makes sense or not. I'll see if I can explain it better. But it's kind of, you say you want to win the lottery, but you never believe that it's actually going to happen. You just don't believe that will happen at all, and it's just the way it goes. And sometimes it won't happen, and this is the thing. So what you could do instead is to say, I want the fruits of being a millionaire, and it looks like this to me. And it's all about your imagination. So for example, you might say, I want to win the lottery, and when I do, I'm going to have this wonderful house. You might still get the wonderful house, but you haven't actually got that whole millionaire lifestyle because you don't really believe it's going to happen. So that is all about manifestation. I've done other videos on manifestation. If you want to find out more about that, have a look on Real Wizardry. I think the video is actually, yeah, in fact, the video is definitely under Real World Magic, but have a look on Real Wizardry, and it's there. It'll be branded Real World Magic. Don't get freaked out. It's still the same thing. Right. The Hermione clip, you said you can't do that anymore. I can still do that. It's fine, probably. I can help if it's nothing personal. I know computer stuff. You do. But Laura needs to do this herself. It's for an interview thing. I just wanted to hear your take. Yeah, that is my take. I know that a lot of people say about the rule of 3, which we'll be definitely able to go into in other videos and other live streams and stuff like that. It seems like this is a good thing. It's been quite talkative, so that's a good thing. And if you would like to come back on Wednesday next week, please do. Please hang around, share this with your friends, all of that sort of stuff. I will be logging off very soon. So Frequency, I feel the same way. It's not in our hearts either to manifest it. Yeah, if it's not in your heart, if you don't believe it with every inch of your being, it's just not going to happen. Now, you can manifest loads of really awesome stuff, and I have. You know, my life has changed significantly since starting doing this. You know, I live in a totally different place. I'm with the magnificent Laura Trigger, who is incredibly patient with me. And I will log off soon, I promise. She wants to use the computer. In fact, I'm gonna do that pretty much now. So yeah, but I'm with her. I've got a wonderful house coming up. I've got a great job with great people. All of that stuff. Where do you find a teacher to magic? Well, what you could do is join. You can join the channel, so there's a link down there. It's £1.99 a month. You can also click the like button and subscribe. Ding that bell button to be notified of future uploads. I'm going to be talking about all of this sort of stuff. There's going to be more of this live stream as well, so it's going to be Witchcraft Wednesdays. I'm going to try and make it a fairly regular thing. It's probably going to be a little bit earlier. Hopefully that's all right for you. And yeah, I'm going to be doing some more sort of witchcrafty stuff coming up fairly soon. I've got a couple of bits on how to become immortal, making magic wands, things like that. So if that's the sort of thing that you're into, then by all means please do join. Subscribe, all of that loveliness. When it comes to teaching magic, it's really difficult because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and also a lot of charlatans. So if people say, give me X amount of money and I'll get this bit of chalk and sacrifice a goat, don't do it. If you want to find out more about that specific side of things and all these charlatans, have a look at Magical Morons on this channel. There's a couple of videos about magical morons. That's pretty much it. I'm going to cut this short now because I'm getting really nervous that I'm talking too much and my wife is downstairs getting really stressed out, and I don't want to stress her out anymore. Love her to bits. So thanks ever so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it, and all of your interaction. That's been fantastic. The hour's gone by really, really quickly. So if you do like this video, please do click that like button, all of that sort of stuff. Please do comment down, all the sides and interact and all of that sort of thing. There's also some posts on the community tab of this channel. If you put up stuff, then we'll be able to have a bit of a chat as well on there, and it can feed into future videos where I can go into a bit more depth. But thanks again ever so much. Share, all of that sort of thing. Click all of these buttons, and I'll see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
Play magical.
Hello! Remember to like this video, comment if you have anything interesting to say, subscribe and ding that bell to turn on notifications of next time Neil goes live or uploads anything. You can also become a patron at Patreon or join as a member of this channel by clicking the link below that looks like this. Members get special benefits like a wizard apparition license, 10% off everything in the shop, and I'll even say hello to you by name on the live stream every Saturday night at 6 PM UK time. Membership starts at £1.99 per month. It's well worth it. You get loads of peanuts for that. That's all for now. See you soon.